Welcome to the Webb Report. My name is Stuart Webb, and today I wanted to discuss a news article that I saw a few weeks ago that I've been meaning to talk about. The headline is Trump beats Biden for King of Debt title as market braces for crush of federal bonds. So during the Trump administration, as he was leaving, I noticed that he had added, well, not him himself, but he approved under his watch, under his administration, with his executive power, he signed off on over $8 trillion in debt for our country. And many will give him a pass because, well, quite a bit of that, I think like half of that was the stimulus during COVID under the CARES Act. And so a lot of people gave him a pass on that because Joe Biden's only added like $4 trillion in his 4 years, but Trump added $8 trillion. Now we're talking in trillions. Most people can't even fathom what that number even means because it's so large. If we go over to what's called the U.S. debt clock, if you search U.S. debt clock on Google, it'll give you a website that gives you the United States national debt in live time, and we are at $34 trillion, and it's actually closer to $35 trillion in national debt. That does not include like future debt or unfunded liabilities, things of that nature. It's just our current debt, what we owe to whether it's the Federal Reserve or other countries, and that's the Federal Reserve is a whole nother topic, but that's how much debt our country's in, and that's a huge problem. And I think the biggest problem with that, if you really understand basically $35 trillion is, you can't pay it back. There's no way. And there's not plans to pay down our debt. That's the thing. No president in my lifetime has paid down the debt from what I can see or understand. There might have been some promises, but you sure don't hear that now. That's because it cannot be done without without massive changes, and no one is willing to do that. And so it's this number. It's really just comes down to when will the chickens come home to roost? When will we feel the effects of this massive debt? It's I don't even know when that's going to happen, because we've been dealing with trillions and trillions of dollars of debt for my entire lifetime, basically. Definitely my adulthood, and I just don't think that we're ever going to do anything about it. It's kind of like a situation where you either can choose to be humble or you can be humbled. And we are in a situation where we are going to have to just be humbled, because no one is seriously considering making massive changes to pay down our debt or to change the way we live. It's just not, I'm not seeing any of that. So when we're discussing which president is better for the economy and all these things, we need to recognize that it does not matter who is placed in office. Our debt is not going to be paid back, and the scary thing is that because we're not going to be paying down our debt or paying it back, people that we owe money to or that have purchased our treasury bonds, things of that nature, when they realize that we're never going to pay that money back, it's going to piss a lot of people off, and that is going to create a lot of friction and conflict. Now, not only will us not paying back our creditors upset the countries that have purchased our debt, like China, but that's not even the biggest problem. It's most of our debt, about 30 something trillion, is actually owned by what's called the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve purchases our debt, and it allows the United States Treasury to essentially put new currency into circulation, devaluing every unit of currency, or each dollar that is in circulation. To put it more plainly, it devalues every dollar that's in circulation. And this is a hidden tax on all of our wages and the currency that we are using to function in society and to engage in commerce. And so this is actually the biggest problem. And in the next podcast, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what inflation is, and also what are the requirements of something to be considered money. Because right now, the dollars that we have in our pocket, in our wallet, in our bank, they're currency. And the reason they're currency is because they don't fulfill all the requirements. There's 3 requirements to be considered money. And our current currency, our dollars, they only fulfill 2 of the requirements. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit about that in the next episode. But I will leave it there for now. Thanks.